I have shared my stories on this channel in so many parts, and I think it's often lost that, hey, even though I'm an immigrant, I'm trying to figure out a lot of things in a new place. And that is often the challenge that we face as immigrants when you move to a new country. There are so many things that we can talk about that will prevent you from being able to reach your financial goals if you let them. And that is what I want to challenge you to work on in this video. So if you are new and you're an immigrant, welcome. Thanks for clicking on this video. In this video, let's talk about some of the things that you need to consider that you may not have thought about in the past, few months, maybe few years you've been in the country and you're trying to build wealth. Now, when it comes to building wealth in the United States, because that's where I'm at, right? There are some things that we need to work on. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know it all. But here's something that we can do. By sharing this information, by sharing this idea, by putting these ideas into the world, what I know that has helped me to this point of my life, and I see the future potential, I will pass it on to somebody that is new, that is coming up, and they may be able to speed up the process and achieve even further and achieve more things than I have done at this stage of my life anyway. So one of the first things that I would like to share with you, all right, is to prioritize your health, okay? It is very important that we prioritize our health in so many ways because in the United States, we know that health care system is goddamn complicated. I mean, I don't know where you're from. I don't know how your healthcare system is, but where I'm from, Africa, Nigeria, to be specific, healthcare is complicated. It's really straightforward. Now, I know that, the amenities and the services they provide may not be the best in those places, but guess what? It's not as expensive. And when you pay top money in those places, when I say top money, it's not close to what we're paying here at all. But when you pay it over there, it goes farther and you achieve a lot more over there. In comparison, when you're here, where you have all these services and amenities and just the infrastructure is there to support the population and the people and, the advanced technology systems that they use, those things can do a lot of wonders, no doubt about it. But it makes it very complicated for an immigrant to understand how to integrate and use the system. Hence, reason why a lot of immigrants don't have an healthcare and they shy away from paying for insurance because, hey, for most part, if you're healthy, mind you, I was in that boat, by the way, all right? So if you're healthy, why do you need an healthcare? Why do you need an insurance? But guess what? All it takes is one accident, one illness, one sickness, and next thing is you're in debt, and that debt can be something that will keep you from reaching the milestone that you have set out to reach. And unfortunately, that has prevented a lot of people from reaching their goals. Now, the next thing is lack of knowledge. Please, we need to understand that lack of knowledge is one of the reasons why we don't make financial progress. You see, there are so many things that I was exposed to, financial instruments, I'll say, that we can use to build wealth, but lack of knowledge and understanding of how those instruments work is something that has prevented me and that prevents a lot of people. Now, it's okay to understand real estate. It's okay to understand stocks. But what about things like Forex? What about things like options? What about things like futures, right? What about things that are maybe commodities? All of these different areas. Now, you don't have to be an expert. There are different financial vehicles or instruments or investments. But guess what? All you need to do is to learn maybe 2, maybe 3 of these instruments, understand the taxes and how they apply to these different financial instruments, and then you can use them to your advantage. Hey, this leads to my third point, which is taxes, okay? You see, when you move into a new place, it is very complicated to understand the tax, especially in the United States. There's so many laws, rules. Each state has its own thing. The federal government has its own laws that apply. The states has its own laws that apply. And I'll be honest with you, I don't understand it all. And this is where you need to do your part. You need to be able to find the necessary resources, the necessary time it takes for you to understand those things. Because guess what? Taxes is something that millionaires and billionaires understand how to use well. Because hey, they say that the thing that is sure that you do or pay for in that you would experience in the United States is death and taxes. So the point here is, if you understand how you can leverage the use of the tax laws and loopholes that you can take advantage of, well, it can make your money go further. Very important. Now, the next thing that I'm going to share with you in this video, all right, so the fourth thing at this point is your social security, or if you put it this way, your credit. Your credit goes a long way. And I've shared this in the past with a lot of, through my videos where I shared the impact that my lack of credit had on my ability and the opportunities that I couldn't take. Okay, so think about it this way. Without credit, you are required to be able to fund a lot of things with cash. And like they say, cash is king, which means when you have cash that you are not just tied to something, you can use that cash for so many other things that can turn out to be better use for that money. I mean, if you understand the different assets that we've just mentioned and you're able to use cash wisely, you can go further. But without credit, what happens is that you then have to tie down huge sum of money to different things, whether you're trying to rent a place, whether you're trying to open a utility account, whether you're trying to buy a car, whether you're trying to buy a house. A lot of money will be put up front. Now, in line with understanding credit and how it works, the next thing to that is the misuse of credit. You see, a lot of people misuse credit. And as an immigrant, it's often easy to think, oh, you see that credit card I just got? Oh, it's easy money. I can just swipe it, get this, buy this thing, and I'll pay it back. Oh, and the next thing you go to the next store, you swipe it to buy a shoe, and then don't worry, I'm going to pay it back. And the next thing you buy this purse, and then I'll pay it back. And the next thing you buy. Guess what? The credit starts to increase, and your 20% on the $1,000 that is little, because that's what happens, right? It's initially you start small, and then it's just only $20, I'll pay it off, and then it's $1,000, oh, I pay it off, oh, it's now $5,000, oh, I'm going to pay it off. I'm just going to pay $250 every month, and I'm going to pay it off in 10 months or whatever, right? The point here is, if you get used to using that credit and you are not paying it off, it's going to cost you more money. And as an immigrant, if you are not careful, if you're not educated to understand how it impacts your credit score and how that credit score, the poor credit score you may end up having, how it impacts you down the line, you see, that would hurt you more. Because you see, when you want to make those big purchases, you see, when you want to buy that car, you want to buy that house, you see, the interest you end up paying will cost you way more than what led you to that point, having that poor credit score. So I want to implore and encourage you to be very careful with using credit and maintaining good credit. Very important. Now, the next thing that I'm going to share with you, which will be my last point, okay, so maybe my fifth point now, is the fear of losing money. When it comes down to investing, when it comes down to saving, okay, we are very psychologically wired to want to protect what we worked hard for. So whether you're trying to buy an investment, you want to make sure you're never going to lose money. Oh, but guess what? You're okay spending that money on things that are depreciating. You forget about the car that you bought that is losing value every day that you're not really driving. You forget about that shoe, that purse, that wealth, that wallet, that gold. Not gold. Gold appreciates. You forget about those things that are losing value on a regular basis. And you fail to acknowledge them. But then you see the money, the 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, 20,000, 30,000 that you've saved up, you've forgotten also that you're losing that to inflation. And that is inflation, okay? Inflation, if I said that correctly. That's why you are required, or you want to make sure that your money is working for you even when you are sleeping. That is why you invest, okay? Because if that money is not invested and it's not growing, it is dying. It is being eaten away by inflation and other factors. So here's one thing I want you to do for me. If you have found value in this video, please don't forget to drop a like on it. The next thing is, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. And of course, don't forget to share this video with somebody. I would love to see you in my next video. Take care.